Hey everyone, Brian from All Day Ruckoff here, and today we're going to be talking about packing for GORUCK Constellation 12. All the gear here is on the list for the GORUCK Constellation 12 event in 2018. And I specify 2018 because the list definitely changed between 2017 and 2018. In addition to the packing list changing, a lot of the modules changed. And if you're curious about those updates, we've got a great post on the website. There'll be a link below in the description, as well as a link to an interview we did with GORUCK cadre Mickey about the changes between Constellation 2017 and 2018. And he was the cadre who put all those changes together. So he was a great resource to talk to. If you're interested in those changes, way too many for this video. So check out either those posts or that podcast episode. As I mentioned, today we're going to be going through the packing list for the GORUCK Constellation 12 event. So we've got the individual gear here. I've got some recommended gear over here, which isn't on the required gear list. And then I've got the team gear over here. So there's 3 different sections of gear. Starting off, we might as well just go with the ruck. So I'll be taking my GORUCK GR1 26 liter pack. This is the pack I use for everyday carry. I take this thing to work, from work. GORUCK Constellation events are based around disaster situations. So in a disaster situation, you're most likely going to have your everyday carry bag with you. So I figure, what better bag to bring to this event than the bag that I use on a daily basis? And I've got a Charity Challenges patch on there, which is pretty awesome. Next on the list is the water bladder. And I've got right here a Source Hydration water bladder. This is the wide version, and I found that I just like the wide version better. It distributes better, I feel like, across the pack, but it's just personal preference. So it's a 3 liter water bladder. I've used this in dozens of events and it's still holding strong, so bringing this one with me. In addition, I will be bringing a HK Quick Clip, which is something that we sell in the All Day Ruckoff store. And you put this top end through the webbing on the GR1, and then you can use this clip and you can hang your water bladder easily in a GORUCK bag. So the Ruckers have those built in. They either have the D-ring or the Velcro loop, but the GR1 doesn't have that, so that solves that purpose. Next up on the required individual gear is steel wool, and the fine kind. So I got mine. It was an 8-pack from Amazon for I think $5, and I bought that last year for GORUCK Constellation. So I brought it all to the event and gave it to people who didn't have any. So kind of a nice thing to do. If you end up going the Amazon route and buying extra, just bring it, leave it in your trunk if you don't need it. But I'm sure someone's going to show up and forget the steel wool, so you'll save their day. Next on the list is a reflective PT strap. So this is an HVSV, which is something that we sell in the All Day Ruckoff store. And this one in particular was the first strap that we ever got. This was back in 2014. This thing has been through 20 to 30 events. It's been through the washing machine a ton of times. At this point, it's pretty much just a good luck charm. It's still reflective, but it's definitely beat. But it's still going strong, so bring that one with me. Next item we'll go into is the battery pack, which it's recommended on the list, and you do have to bring your cell phone if you have one. So battery pack's recommended to recharge that. It falls right in line with these 2 items, which are the required charging cable for your phone and a cigarette lighter adapter that can charge your phone. So these 2 together take care of that requirement. And I just grab the cord that I have that I take with me to charge my phone, and this came right out of my car, so didn't have to do any extra purchasing there. A new item on the list for this year is the BBQ Lighter. And I just went and picked this up at the closest store I could find. It was pretty cheap, just a couple bucks. I think it was $2.50. And the whole idea with GORUCK Constellation is that you're using things that you're going to find in a disaster situation. So I'm guessing Amazon has some super fancy barbecue lighter that's $25 and does 80 different things. But in a disaster scenario, Amazon 2-day shipping, or Amazon, for us, at least over in Seattle, same-day shipping, it's probably not going to be working. So just grabbed the cheapest lighter, barbecue lighter I could find. In addition, on the list, we have 2 9-volt batteries. So last year we used these to start a fire, which is fun. Who would have thought you could start a fire with a 9-volt? But we use it for that. I've got 2 right here. They're actually from the pack that I bought for last year, so that worked out pretty well. This year, you have to bring a multi-tool. This is just a Leatherman that I had laying around. Nothing too special. Required as well is a headlamp. GORUCK Constellation events, at least the Constellation 12, it runs overnight. So ours is starting at 6 p.m. and somewhere around 6 a.m. the following day. So headlamps required. I've got the Princeton Tech EOS here, which is one of my favorite headlamps. I've used a lot of different headlamps. I like this one. First, it's made in the USA, which is pretty cool. And second, it is waterproof to 1 meter, not just water resistant. So pro tip, if you're in an area like I am where there's salt water, you still need to be very diligent in cleaning it, because even though it's waterproof, you know that salt can rust pretty much anything it gets its hands on. So be careful with that. It's always good to check to make sure it's working before your event, because there's, nothing like showing up, getting in line and doing the gear check, pulling your headlamp out, and it does not turn on. So headlamps there. We've also got batteries for the headlamp, and these are on the required gear list, so I would say bring them. Are you going to need them? Probably not. But required gear list, if you've done a light, a tough, a heavy, you know that if the cadre are mad, they can pull out any of those required gear items, say, everyone, show me your whatever. And if you can't produce the batteries, you can get some PT. I've seen it happen. I've been in classes where it's happened. So got backup batteries for that headlamp. Over here we have a roll of duct tape, which is required. Last year we used the duct tape to make our gas mask, which I'll get into in a second, as well as practice breaking out of restraints. Some of the smaller items we got here, you need to bring a Bic pen. I've got 2 right here. With the smaller items, it's one of those 2 is 1, 1 is none scenarios. So I've got 2 Bic pens here, and maybe if someone on my team forgets one, I'll make them happy. The other small item is a paperclip. And as you can see, I've got 2 of those right here. Same situation. They're small, they get lost in your bag, you can drop one. 2 is 1, 1 is none. $20 cab fare, just in case you decide to quit GORUCK Constellation. This has been on the required list for pretty much every GORUCK event since 2011. And just got to bring it. So another one of those items where if the cadres say produce your cab money and you don't have it, then the real fun can start. This item is awesome. This is a homemade gas mask. And if you took part in Constellation in 2017, then you made one of these. What this is a 2-liter with a dust mask, and you rip the cords off the dust mask and you create this thing so that it attaches to your head. And you can breathe out the bottom. It actually works pretty well. We got pepper sprayed last year during Constellation. We had to wear this during that, and it held up. There's a good chance there's still pepper spray on this, so fun times. If you didn't do Constellation in 2017, then you have to bring a empty 2-liter and a dust mask. So have those handy. What's next? You have to bring a canteen, and this is most likely to boil water with. I have a GSI Outdoors one here, pretty cheap. I think it was $9. You have to bring a 12-ounce or larger can. And so I've got a can that at one point had enchilada sauce in it. We used it this week, and now it's empty, and it's going to Constellation with me. If you can find one of those metal coffee cans, that's probably the best. I just went with, we don't have those in our house, so I just went with whatever we had around, because disaster situation, you're just going to be grabbing what you can. You're not going to be running all over town trying to find the perfect can for the situation. Contractor bag, pretty self-explanatory. ID. So got my ID here. Also have a bus pass and a credit card. And the ID is always required. Bus pass is not required, but we've actually used it in previous events. So from now on, I just bring it with just in case. And the credit card's nice because when the event's over, you can buy breakfast or something, and you're not going to be fumbling with your cab money. A cell phone is on the required list. I've got my phone right here. And if you don't have a cell phone, that's probably fine. It's most likely one of those one per team kind of things. We've got a map, which I think is the last piece of individual required gear here. So you need a map of the area that you'll be exploring in the GORUCK Constellation event. So we're going to be in Mercer Island in Seattle. So I have a map of Mercer Island. I printed mine out online. GORUCK says don't buy one, just get a tourist map if possible. If you're traveling for an event, just check out the town's website because they have tons of maps. I've never had an issue downloading a map, printing it out, and it's probably tough for you to see, but you can actually see all the streets if you're looking at this close. So you can definitely use it to navigate. Now we're moving into gear that is not required, but I recommend that you bring to GORUCK Constellation 12. First off, gloves. Bring gloves to every single GORUCK event you do because who knows what you'll be doing. These things will save your hands. I have so many pairs of mechanics gloves, it's not even funny. These ones don't even match. Maybe I can use that to my advantage somehow. It looks like white's on the right and black's on the left, so bring in gloves for sure. Next up, I've got the GORUCK Challenge Windbreaker, and we're on an island for this. As I mentioned, Mercer Island, islands surrounded by water. At those points, there's a lot of wind, so hoping this will keep me warm if it comes down to it. We'll see. It's supposed to rain all night, so maybe it'll keep me dry too. It'll definitely be good testing for an upcoming review. Not on the required list, but I recommend you bring it, food. I've got 4 protein bars over here. I'm pretty boring when it comes to food for events. I usually just pack protein bars. If it's a tough or something harder, then I'll bring maybe some chews or some energy gel stuff. But for Constellation, last time I just brought protein bars, I was fine. Bring them again. Like I said, pretty boring. I know those sit fine in my stomach. That's the main key point, is that you bring food that will not upset your stomach. So train with, the food that you're going to be bringing, and then bring the food you train with, and don't switch it up on game day. I'll be putting the food inside this dry bag. This is one of my favorite dry bags because it has this right down here, which lets air out but not water in. So I've used this for just tons of events ever since I bought it, and it's amazing. If you don't have a dry bag that has something like this, then you don't know what you're missing. And we'll give a quick test right now. So as you know, with dry bags, you just fold them over a couple times, clip it, and we have a ton of air in here. And this thing just deflates. It's nice because it doesn't take up any extra room. Shove it in your bag and no water is getting in. It's a very cool item. Finally, on the recommended gear that I think you should bring to a GORUCK Constellation event: notebook, pen, and a Sharpie. And the pen to write in the notebook, Sharpie just in case. If you've ever been to a light or a tough or a heavy where you've done the name game, which is you have to memorize everyone on your team's name, otherwise you have to do PT, Sharpies are amazing because you write that name on someone's forehead and it's nice and easy to see. I'll be bringing a Field Notes notebook with me. I love Field Notes notebooks. The company Field Notes puts the love and dedication into their notebooks that is on par with the love that GORUCK puts into their events and their backpacks. So they're very into notebooks, and I love being able to support an American company. These are all made in the USA that just loves what they do, even if it is just making notebooks. The final piece of gear I'm bringing that's not on the required list, and I mean, it's probably not even like a recommended piece of gear, but I've got a Moment camera case on my phone, and I've got these Moment lenses. And what these are camera lenses that go on your phone. And so I took a lot of great shots last year at GORUCK Constellation, and I'm just hoping that, with these lenses, I'll be able to take some even better pictures. And didn't know it when I bought them, but they're actually a local Seattle company, so it's good to support local. We've gone through individual gear. We've gone through recommended gear that's not on the individual required list. Now we're going to hit team gear. And team gear is one item per team. The GORUCK Constellation teams, they're broken into 6 or so people. So when you're looking at pricing, divide it by 6, figure out your team in advance, and then make sure you only bring one of each item. So first up is the item I hate the most, and it's a selfie stick. And it's on the list, and I never thought I would own one. So thank you, GORUCK, for making me buy a selfie stick. This thing looks brand new, and that's because the only time I've used this has been used once, and the only time I used it was at GORUCK Constellation in 2017. So bringing this thing back for GORUCK Constellation 2018. It is on the gear list, 1 per team. Thanks again, GORUCK, making me buy a selfie stick. Next up, we've got an IR light. And what this is, it's a light that produces an IR beam. And I just turned it on. You can't see anything. Just turned it off. Still can't see anything. Infrared light, not visible to the naked eye. Cameras, phones, all of them could see it, except that there's an IR sensor or IR filter built in. So even through a camera, even through a phone, you're not going to see this light. So take that into consideration when you buy it, and then you get it and you turn it on and it doesn't look like it's working. You have to check to see if the lights, you can look into it and see if they turn on. That's how you know if it works or not. A lot of these products on Amazon have bad reviews because the people reviewing them don't know that, and they assume they got a broken item when they just don't have anything that can successfully view the light. So it's tough finding an IR light that has greater than 4-star reviews because there's so many people who don't know how to use them. Another interesting piece of team gear is a personal alarm called a personal security device. And so what this is it's like a key fob, and you pull this pin out and it'll make the most annoying sound that you'll probably hear all day. It is terrible. And I had no clue how this thing worked when I got it. So obviously just pulled it. I figured it was like a keychain, and it just went crazy. So got the pin back in and it turned off. I'm excited to see what we do with this. I really think it's going to be like a tripwire type thing. So you can see if someone's sneaking up on you, but it's pretty cool. $10 on Amazon. The light was $10 as well. And I don't know what the selfie stick was. I'm not going to look again because I don't want to know what I paid for it. Paying any money for a selfie stick is paying too much money for a selfie stick. You need to bring a small screwdriver set. You know, when they say small screwdriver set, they don't mean like miniature screwdrivers or like one screwdriver. They mean ones that work with like watches or cameras. And so this is a small screwdriver set right here. And my thought is that we're going to be using them with this final item on the required team gear, which is a Kodak PixPro FZ43. And this is a camera, if you couldn't tell from this video. I bought mine for $46 on Amazon, so not breaking the bank. As I mentioned before, 6 people on the team, divide it, about $8 a person. It's not too bad, but you do have to track one down for your team. They highly recommend this model because, from my understanding, they're the easiest to take apart. And I don't know what we're going to be doing with this, but I can assume that we'll use the screwdrivers, take this thing apart, remove the IR filter, and we'll turn this basically into night vision goggles using the IR flashlight that we've got over there. So definitely an interesting gear list. If you're used to GORUCK light events or tough events, this is probably way more than you're used to packing in a ruck. So hopefully this video, and then I'm going to have links down in the description for all the items on here so you can see exactly what I picked up. Hopefully this helps get you squared away for your GORUCK Constellation 12 event. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're curious about GORUCK Constellation, like I mentioned, links below. We've had an amazing interview with Cadre Mickey about the changes. We had another great podcast interview with Steven, who finished GORUCK Constellation 24 in 2017. So if you're curious about that event, you can check that out as well. Shirt for the day is Pathfinder Ruck Training, and it's a CT-HT shirt. Choose the harder thing. Lyle Peterson at Pathfinder Ruck Training is an awesome guy, and they put on some amazing ruck training programs. So, like I mentioned, check the description. I'll have a discount code in there for those events. And yeah, don't forget, attitude is everything. Keep yours positive and drink hard, ruck harder.